All the rules have been changed. The local
Alright, go for launch, flight tractor. We might have a few funny extra safe things as the camera on the right is ours. It'll likely hit us before the SpaceX camera. Deluge, here we go. Ignition. And it lifted off.
6, 5.
Yes.
3. Ignition.
We're Starship. Let's go. Look at that tracking shot with Ryan. Tracking that rocket. Beautiful shot. All 33 rocket engines. Looking fantastic. That is looking like that thing is flying fantastic. All right.
Pushing out, pushing out.
Actually, it's flying on exhaust right now. From all the exhaust. Here we go.
All right, rocket T plus 30 seconds into flight T at 33 out of 33. Reactive booster V3 ascending over the Gulf now. Coming up on maximum aerodynamic pressure.
and I once had a dream.
Booster and ship avionics power consumption nominal.
A journey.
Systems looking good. We're just passing through the maximum dynamic pressure. Wow. A little over a minute into flight now. Vibrations chilling out here at Star Factory as we continue to watch Starship Flight 12 arc out over the Gulf. The next major thing coming up is going to be do what's Rico. Most engines cut off, so we're going to shut down all but 5 of the Raptor engines on the booster. And then after that happens, we're going to ignite the 6 engines on ship while it is still attached. We have clamps that hold the 2 together. Those are going to retract inside of that hot stage ring, kind of protect them. We had one of the engines go out, still flying on 32 of the Raptor engines. Again, once we get to hot staging, those 6 engines on the ship are going to ignite. We're going to do it in a little bit different of a sequence on version 3. Essentially, those 3 RVAC engines will ignite first. Almost immediately after, just one of those central engines is going to ignite, and that's going to give the booster a bit of a kick, sending it in a new direction, followed shortly after by the other 2.
Wow, that thing's
You're the
scary.
girl who lit this path for me,
Our
Miko.
tracking camera from Ryan should be a little bit ahead of the
and now you're leaving me to wander.
See that here now. There we go. Look at how quickly that booster flips.
There you go, successful hot staging
She
separation.
calls my name.
We're not seeing as many booster engines ignite as we expected for boost back, but we are seeing 6 good engines lit on ship. It looks like we just had an early boost back shutdown. Again, a reminder, the booster was planned to essentially head into the Gulf
Well, I promised some people
for
inside
a
that wasn't
splashdown,
the last computer.
but it has shut its engines down early on into
So the
boost back.
robots always fight. It's always a battle.
we're gonna lose
Which
the booster.
thing?
And we just see
Which we're
one
gonna
of
lose
the
anyway, but-
RVAC, so we're now running on 5 engines on ship.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, they lost an RVAC.
We
That's
do
not
have
good.
engine out capability, so it's going to continue into its ascent.
I have a feeling
You got booster on the left there, ship on the right.
I'm to your paparazzi
Ship
scene.
avionics power
Again, we are
consumption
not
nominal.
planning on bringing the booster
I'm
back
coming to you.
for this flight, as this was the very
I
first
ain't
time.
sorry. You'll never find me on my knees.
An RVAC out is interesting because they can't
Are you
steer
in?
those RVACs.
All right, so
that
about 3 minutes,
has a decent
50 seconds
offset.
into today's flight. Just a reminder that the ship planned to
Does it
burn its
make
engines
you happy?
for about 8 minutes and change.
Does it
About 8
make
minutes and
you
11 seconds
free?
is our planned timeline for today. That could shift slightly as we do
Wanna
have one
tell
engine
you
out, running on 1 fewer
something.
RVACs.
I can't get with the way you've been hanging out.
Does Ryan still have the booster in that shot? I can't tell. If he doesn't, we could probably go full screen on SpaceX.
Again, continuing to watch. So booster did not complete its boost back burn. We did not see all of the engines ignite that we expected. We're continuing to get some views from it though. That's going to make us splash down somewhere in the Gulf. Reminder: we clear air, sea space, everything for these launches.
I was beautiful. You probably think that was
So the ship
interesting.
is able to compensate by gimbling those 3 center Raptor engines to compensate for the one RVAC that's
So we are coming up
shut down.
on T
Sounds
plus
different when there's
5
folks
minutes.
around.
Ship continuing to fire
Everybody
5 of the
hears,
6.
but no one's listening.
Yeah, we haven't seen it do anything like this before, so this is a good test, I guess, of engine
It's
capability.
making sure ship's on its planned trajectory. Again, we are planning a suborbital trajectory for the ship today.
I feel so scared to make
Booster giving us some views as it continues to make its way back down towards the water.
That was quite incredible.
Absolutely. So we have views here from the booster coming back down, making its way into the Gulf. Pretty cool to see.
Healthy chamber pressures on 5 out of 6 ship Raptor engines.
Great news there for Starship.
This is not where it's supposed to re-enter, but they're getting good data out of what happens anyway.
And we were not going to bring the super heavy booster back to the tower. We were planning on having it land in the Gulf.
To get these upgraded cameras, a look inside of the ship here, you can see those 3 center engines ignited. The RVAC's continuing to fire as well. We did see at least a couple engines fire up on booster for that landing burn before we lost contact with it. We should have just a little over 20 seconds to go. We'll see if the burn extends a little bit for the engine
likely to
out.
burn
Essentially, you
longer
can
because
run
the
your
thrust
engines a
is
little bit longer, throttle up a little bit more to account for the one engine not being lit. So right now
Definitely
we
an
are
engine on
standing
fire is clearer than
by
it.
for Seco.
I will be shocked if this thing survives once its engines are cut off and it makes it all the way. Because it looked like an engine was very much on fire. And the one furthest from the cameras, it
Again, we are
appears.
continuing to go a little bit longer.
Like I said, it's got to reach pretty close to 27,000 kilometers an hour.
5 engines
This is-
still burning on ship.
Keep going, buddy. The little engine that could.
Mother, do you think she's good enough?
Yes, they're extending this to try to get all the velocity out of it that they need.
Mother, do you think she's dangerous to me?
It would normally stop burning at about 8
Starting to
minutes and
see
11
shut
seconds.
down.
Mother, when she
RVACs are
breaks
shut
my
down.
heart.
Sea levels are shut down.
Blew up the venting
Mother, will she
propellant
tell
a
you,
lot.
little boy?
After it's shut down, there's still a bunch of a cloud spewing from the far back side of the engine bay. So I think they're going to be losing drop. And eventually, that might be losing
All right, well, we definitely got a ship in space right now.
It's in space. Yeah. Yeah, it's in space. So I wonder if they'll still do the Starlink deploy. That will be coming up here in about
As
7
you can
minutes or
see,
so.
the teams are incredibly excited to see Starship there in space. We are awaiting the call out of nominal insertions. We're going to stand by for that. You can see the flaps moving here, actuating. But wow, the cheers here in the lobby are certainly almost as loud as liftoff was.
Yeah. Man, a lot of action going on. And, you know, we said at the top of the show, excitement guaranteed. And we're only 11 minutes in. We still have a lot more to go here on the mission today. I talked to some of our heat shield engineers the other day, and we're actually running. Yeah, here's the shot right here. Great. So the fact that we're seeing all these flaps still on the flap right now is really good, because that actually was one of our experiments. where we wanted to test different connection methods on the way uphill on ship, so actually ascent. So it looks like most, if not all, the tiles are still hanging on there, so that's actually a really good data point.
Looks pretty good to me. Now, once again, this view is from the side of Starship, which is basically the second stage of the Starship vehicle as a whole. This is one of the flaps on the vehicle that helps to control its position and attitude as it is orbiting. And also helps to control during re-entry as well. That's a critical phase. I mentioned earlier that we're hoping to deploy those Starlink satellite simulators as well as perform an in-space relight of a Raptor engine. If all of that goes well, we will be targeting a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean. We heard from Seren on the recovery team a little bit earlier. They are standing by waiting to receive the ship.
I'll explain something. So notice it is generally venting, actually. So it's not so. Starship has this weird thing, and it's half because I asked about it once. It's doing this, but it has. They use the pressure inside the vehicle as the pumps are boiling off to work as both. They normally have to vent it when it boils off, and it increases the pressure inside the tanks. And instead of just wasting it, they usually can use it for attitude control. Now you notice that this is the first time we've seen the other side of the ship, and both of those vents are venting, so they're canceling each other out. So they're not really using those to maneuver. So that's actually good. That means that it's likely just dumping propellant at this point, which is something that they do. There is an RCS pod that just fired. That little, it almost looked blue. And so that's actually, I'm feeling better about this. I'm thinking that we're probably not too far off. So just wanted to note that. Let's go ahead and listen back in. Oh, that's actually really good.
Headed towards the other side of the planet, and then a splashdown in the Indian Ocean. It's going to start to get darker. We're heading into an orbital sunset. So we're gonna have darkness for a little bit, and then we'll brighten up once we're on the other side of the planet, and hopefully looking at some good daylight when we re-enter into the Indian Ocean.
I really like seeing that one thruster fire. Look at this blue. I wonder if it's actually doing some. Look at this. That one's really cool. I gotta figure out if that's just methane that's different, or why is it blue? Is it doing some mild combustion there? Is that a... Yeah, I don't know what that is or why it's blue. It would almost suggest that it's combusting. That there's a reaction there. It's not just venting.
All right, so we're a little over 17 minutes into flight. If you're just now catching up with us, we did see a liftoff right at the top of our window. Super Heavy getting off the pad, initially lighting all 33 of those Raptor engines, got through a successful hot staging. Initially lit 6 engines on ship, had one RVAC go out on the way uphill, but still able to make it into space. And right now we're trying to see if we are going to get into payload deploy still.
I think it's a little bit there.
Coming up right on the part of the timeline when we were expecting it. Look inside a Starship there. Oh,
yeah, you can see the door.
I see a door opening.
So it's trying. This
Looks
is good.
Like Hal didn't wait. His door is open. Just a reminder, we've got 22 deployables in the payload bay today. 20 of those Starlink mass simulators, and then 2 are Dodger dogs, as we like to call them internally, sitting out their modified V2 Starlink satellites.
So they're going to actually
be testing a bunch of components that we're planning to fly on Starlink V3, and we've also got them outfitted with a number of cameras for another tech demo that we're trying out on this flight. We definitely are looking for a way that we can look at Starship's heat shield while it's still in space. You can kind of only see so much from the cameras and the flaps. You can't see everything kind of on the underbelly, and one of the only ways you can do that is if you got something else flying near it. So we're going to attempt to our final 2 satellites going out the door have a suite of cameras on them that are going to be looking back at the ship. We're going to be at nighttime, and so we've got, sounds like we're getting into payload deploy. We'll be at nighttime. They've got some powerful flashlights on them to try and illuminate the ship's heat shield while we fly away from it. So we see some Fez motion.
start seeing this stack of satellites, dummy satellites, get projected out. Here we go. Come on. Let's go.
Pew, pew.
Good. They're getting data. They're getting data. This is what we want to see. Validation, system testing. There's the first
2 out of 20 to go. As a reminder, that's one of the things that we upgraded in
Thanks everybody again for
version
coming out
3.
tonight.
Kind of gave a little soup up to
We'll
the
get another round of
Pez
applause for
dispensers, so
Mr. Eric
those satellites going to move
Rock's
out
lab.
a little bit quicker than they did on previous Starship flight tests. So
What about
first 2 out the door, 2 more on their way out.
One woman drum and synth pop sensation.
There we go. You can see a sliver of it, the silhouette of it going out that door. And the other.
All right, 4 down, 18 to go. Flexing my basic math skills here today. Again, the majority of this stack, 20 of these 22 satellites, they're essentially just mass simulators, so they're roughly the same size as those Starlink V3 sats that we're hoping to fly later this year.
There we go, 2 more. We're coming up on 6 out of 22. About a quarter of the way up.
And from this top-down view, so you're looking down at the stack, those 2 satellites you see on the very top, that they'll look very different. They've got solar arrays, they've got a bunch of other deployables on them that we're going to be testing out that are going to be V3 tech, and they've got 3 engineering cameras and then 1 other camera that's hopefully going to be giving us some views of Starship in space. But we will see how that works. Again, this very much a tech demo. We're going to deploy those. The satellite's going to kind of try and turn everything on, look back at Starship, and the primary reason we're trying to do this is to get some views of the heat shield.
There's that 8 now, 22.
2 more out the door. 2 more out the door, and I think that counts, or that comes up to 8 total.
As you can tell, the teams are stoked to see this demonstration happening. It's pretty incredible to see this happening live from space. Now, as we noted earlier in the show, but worth repeating, this Starship version 3 is built to deploy up to 60 of Starlink's more advanced V3 satellites. Everything's V3. Designed to offer 60 terabits per second of downlink capacity per satellite. Now that is 20 times more than each Falcon 9 does today. Incredible.
All right, I think that's number 10 going out the door.
Okay. Almost halfway done.
Yeah, there it goes.
Hopefully everyone here at Nerdland will be able to get this before they give you the boost.
So yeah, the camera view you have on your left screen there is basically right at the bottom of the payload volume. So the kind of dome-shaped structure you see there that's actually the top of the fuel tank.
And the camera view that you have on the right is an external camera that we have positioned so that you can see basically the light through the open Pez dispenser door that you see. That's that sliver of light. We can see the Starlinks here deploying as each one comes through.
We're over halfway. It'll be the last 2 that are the exciting ones.
As we mentioned, we have 20 of these Starlink simulator satellites, and then we have 2 of these specially modified, as we call them, Dodger dogs here around here. Those, as Dan mentioned earlier, they have some V3 tech on them, some solar arrays, and those will be the last 2 that will be deployed today.
Yeah, that's right. And seeing this, I think Dan called him turbocharged or supercharged Pez dispenser. It's definitely coming out much faster than our previous flights, so that is really good to see. Yeah, look at that.
Behind that mountain.
14, right?
And especially once we, fill Starship up all the way with around 60 or so of these Starlinks, being able to deploy them fairly expediently, is going to be important for designing the overall mission profile.
Yeah. Now, fans of Starship may know that Starlink enables lots of unprecedented views, both from space, as we see here, and on Earth. In addition to the dozens of cameras on Starship itself, we also have mobile Starlink camera kits deployed in the Indian Ocean.
Is the drummer.
Yes, Starlink also connects our aerial cinematography units on the ground at Starbase and at other strategic camera spots around Texas.
It's all part of how it all comes together to tell the incredible story of Starship both on and off planet.
Yep.
All right, we're getting low on the stack. It looks like we got 2 more of those simulators to go out, and then it will be time for our Dodger Dogs as modified Starlink satellites. Just a couple of updates while we continue to watch payload deploy. Did get confirmation we're going to be skipping that relight of the Raptor engine, just due to everything that we saw on the way uphill. Those sea level engines, we're going to use them for a landing burn though. They are still capable to be used for that. So we'll still look to do a controlled landing in the Gulf.
There was evil spoken,
but no in-space relay.
and a victor chosen.
In other words, the in-space relay
I
normally
think
would
that's
extend.
19 and 20 headed out the door.
Now at the end of everything,
Okay, so now it's just
Coming up our Dodger Dogs. So these are modified
shining light
V2 Starlink
all to
satellites.
see.
We do have a number
And
of
they cry
cameras
your
on
name.
these that are going to attempt to look back at
Burned
Starship.
by the flame
We're not going to
of
get
the
this video in real
risen
time,
sun.
but we're going to try and turn it around if we do get some video down. So don't worry, if we get views of Starship from these satellites, we will be sharing.
But how
that'll be really cool. This is something I've been looking forward to.
These
So
will be
hopefully,
exciting because again, they're really a tech demo. Getting
Oh,
our
brother.
chance to test out some of the technologies for version 3.
okay,
but how
let's hope for some views from these Dodger Dog
I think that's
satellite.
18 and 20. My basic math skills are failing. All right, here we go.
Okay, there we go. This is the Dodger Dog. Dodger Dog. It'd be cool if they showed the camera from on the satellite as it's
For
leaving.
Starship,
That'd be sick.
basically to serve the first Dodger Dogs to low Earth orbit.
No, not quite low Earth orbit, but close. Oh wait, maybe these ones would have enough propulsion to fly, but that'd be pretty sick.
One out the door.
Okay.
In this game,
Big moment.
you kind of see on the right side of the satellite, you see some bright white spots. Those are our flashlights. Beneath them, the camera is going to attempt to look back and image Starship's heat shield as it flies slowly away from
lost
the
in a
vehicle.
childhood fantasy.
Camera.
To Earth and to
Oh.
lovers.
Oh, that's the flashlight looking in. This is still the payload
And their
bay.
vow was broken,
The headlights on there.
and there was evil spoken that day.
That's cool.
If you couldn't tell, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
Brother, sister,
It is always sunny
take
in
my
space.
hand.
Always sunny in space, and that looks like an empty payload bay.
As we
So
search for
that's exactly what you want to see there. That's great. So yeah, with
Clear the
payload
path we've
deploy
chosen.
complete. Oh, you can see the door closing
Let
there.
the evil that you've spoken
Cameras on some of the deployables, which provided the first views in space of a Starship from the outside. SpaceX noted that the main goal of these deployable cameras was to get data on the heat shield and how it has held up to this point. The next launch milestone.
Complete. Starship will
There's
now
so
close
much
the
Oh, they must have the views. They must have the views. Or is that just the payload door?
Yeah, Starship, we closed the payload door, and we're going to continue to coast around Earth all the way to the Indian Ocean. So still a lot of major events to come today. Sounds like we're not going to hit that Raptor relight, based on what Dan was saying, but after that, of course, we'll have the atmospheric reentry and splashdown. And with that, we're going to go on another quick coast.
So sit tight, enjoy some amazing space views and the space jams, of course. And we'll be back in a few minutes for Raptor relight, or excuse me, not for the relight, but we'll be standing by for atmospheric reentry.
Okay, so chat, don't go anywhere. We'll stick around, but I do have to say goodbye to our friends here at Nerdland. Thank you guys so much for joining, staying up late. It's 1 a.m. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. It's really been a real treat to be able to live stream in front of a crowd of people. You've really made this one special for me. So thank you so much, sincerely. For the rest of your weekend. Oh, we did have some people that were in the audience that were super chatting. So Jerry Berry, and hello to little brother Sam in the audience. I did see some people out there. So sorry that I missed that earlier, but thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your Nerdland weekend. Hopefully I'll see you around. So yeah, cheers. All right.
We were kind of the metal side of Starship to see how those different bonding techniques would hold up. And it looked like we've got quite a bit still attached.
Good experiment.
Yeah, and as we're going down through the atmosphere here, we are at about Mach 16.1. So still extremely fast, although we have, scrubbed off a substantial amount of our speed already. Altitude at a little less than 60 kilometers.
Still more work to come. Well, hopefully we'll see a splashdown here in less than 10 minutes. I am curious when the engines light up if they're healthy enough and they had any major leaks or anything.
We're
from
about
that
8 minutes away from our targeted landing and splashdown time. Again, this is when the ship's going to start really.
The ship is approaching the end of the peak heating region.
Just heard the call out, getting to the end of the peak heating, so the highest temperature the Starship's going to see during its re-entry.
It's getting sparkier. Likely is some material ablating away, so I'm curious what's going on there in the nose, if that's okay or if that's
This camera angle changes as it is attached to the forward flap on Starship, so we're actually experiencing the articulation of that hardware, helping to steer the ship down for its precise landing in the Indian Ocean.
I love that.
Yeah, that is just a really cool, kind of cool piece of perspective there. I know some people say it makes them a little seasick, but I definitely love it. It makes it feel like you're really riding along with the ship on the way down.
Yeah, this thing, Discord, I agree, Earthrise, if this thing
aside
actually
from just looking cool, all these camera views providing just really critical data on how the heat shield, how the flaps themselves are holding up. That's why we've got these in the flaps and then all scatter all around the ship so you can see how they hold up. There's some internal to the vehicle too and we're getting all of this video back via Starlink. Even as we're just enshrouded in plasma, we're able to operate at a high enough frequency to punch through, and that is blue ocean and sunlight you're seeing just beyond the flaps. So we are coming down into daylight, hopefully splashing down in the next 6 minutes or so in the Indian Ocean. We've still got a couple maneuvers lined up where we're going to be really stressing the flaps on the ship. So
the ship has passed through the peak heating region. External temperatures are coming down.
Wow, that is incredible news. As Dan mentioned, we were expecting this re-entry to be super spicy, but excellent news that we're now past that period of peak heating and that now the external temperatures are starting to decrease.
If this thing still lands on target,
the belly of the ship really doing a ton of work to burn off all of that inertia that the vehicle had prior to re-entering the atmosphere.
Yeah, and you can tell by the G meter down in the bottom right that we're starting to pick up a couple more Gs here, so we're definitely entering the thicker part of the atmosphere where we're scrubbing off all that energy, like Kate's saying.
So coming up on only about 5 minutes or so from
Right, just about 5 minutes or so to go. We're coming up shortly on the maneuver where we're gonna, it's affectionately called the flap slap, where we're going to kind of pitch the nose up on the ship, and you're going to see those aft flaps, the ones in the very bottom, fully deploy.
Here we are. Whoa! So that's like maximum
Ship is at
braking.
peak dynamic pressure.
It's like slamming on the brakes.
And we're now at peak pressure.
Ship flap load test has started.
You say it's so good to see me. Gift from God.
That's so cool.
Looks like it's
Say that
holding.
you used to know me in the old days, old ways.
Again, the intent of that was to put just a lot of extra stress on those aft flaps. We are expecting the forward ones too to see a little bit of extra stress as we've got more propellant in our header tank, so the area right at the very nose of
Ship flap load test is complete.
And we're through that test.
Impressive.
There we go.
Don't it
And
feel
we
like
just did that test at Mach 7.
stumbling into something when you
just
didn't
for
intend
reference
to.
there, so we are still going incredibly fast.
I toss a line to you.
Okay, 3 minutes away from intended
All right,
splash out.
we're
This
just
thing
about
lands.
3.5 minutes or so away from our targeted landing burn. Again, we're expecting to try and see 2 of these Raptor engines light for the landing burn. Normally we plan for 3, but we're going to give it a try with 2.
Interesting. If that's something to do with the engine out, or if that's a...
Hopefully we've got
Ship is
Saran.
starting the RTLS banking maneuver.
return to launch and banking maneuver.
And that right
Like
there,
this,
so we're starting a banking maneuver. And essentially what that is when we come back to Starbase, or when we plan to come back to Starbase, the trajectory is designed so we'll essentially swing out over the Gulf and do a swoop maneuver to then come back to the towers for catch. And so we are doing that exact same maneuver as we head towards our target splashdown in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, and that call out there that we heard, RTLS, stands for Return to Launch Site. So definitely a pretty cool thing we're demoing here on the ship. You know, as in the future, we are going to be trying to bring the ship back to the launch site, which is going to be absolutely insane.
Absolutely. But of course, we want to test out these maneuvers, these principles prior to actually bringing the hardware back to the pad. This is the same reason why we would, intentionally not trying to bring the booster back to the pad. So we're trying all these things out in this developmental phase of the vehicle, and really proving what a test flight is.
Absolutely.
Dynamic pressure is coming down.
All right, we heard there dynamic pressure coming down, and I'd say we're in a pretty good bank right now.
Yeah, executing the power slide. We're about 90 seconds away. We're anticipating landing burn. Clouds coming up, pretty sunrise on the other side of the planet.
Man, it looks so controlled.
Starship is
really
subsonic and is on target.
Subsonic and on target, despite engine out.
The crowd here reacting to that call out by the snow that we are on target for this precise landing in the Indian Ocean. This will once again be a soft splashdown. It's a pretty cool news from the recovery team. They are standing by to receive this ship. Once again, this is the first flight of our completely redesigned Starship version 3.
Yeah, and if you remember the suborbital flights from a few years ago, this is very much the same regime that we're in here. So we're sub 15 kilometers, executing what we call the belly flip maneuver.
Yes, serial number 8, the first belly flop. I remember it well.
Don't it feel like you used to? Stumbling into something when you didn't intend to.
I'll try to answer a few more
Already
questions
shooting
at
so
the
far
very
past
end,
the
then I gotta
read-through.
wrap up here.
I toss a line to you, see what you do. You improvise when the spotlight is on you. You say,
Thanks,
let
Sterling.
me
Here we
in.
go. Here we go. Getting down to the last little bit here.
Yeah, you can see the aft flap there making minor corrections.
Starship is turning for final approach to landing site.
Look at that turn.
Here we go. Minor corrections and a full turn.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, Starship doesn't fly like an airplane. It's a lot more like a skydiver. Full belly flop on the way down, using those flaps similar to arms to help change the path of the air over you. Coming up real soon. Again, going for landing burn, trying to light 2 of these Raptor sea level engines.
Here we go. It's coming up soon. It really does look in pretty good shape. Let's see how this turns out, though.
Landing burn startup. 2 engines lit. Successful flip. Buoy cam just
Good shot down.
Oh, yeah. Let's see it. Let's see it go boom. Thank you for keeping the boom on it. Wow. Thank you, Shaver. That was incredible. They nailed the target because they had the footage of it. They nailed it. Oh, that's outstanding.
For the trip today, as weird as it may sound to hear, but it is the truth.
Absolutely wild. You know, at the beginning of the show, we guaranteed excitement at the beginning of the show, and I say Starship delivered.
An incredible day for Starship. That was the first flight of that completely redesigned vehicle. As you can tell, the teams are incredibly proud of what we just saw.
Yeah, V3 definitely showed up.
Getting up. The clock struck midnight and through my sleeping.